Welcome to the program. This week we'll bring you the concluding part of our discussion with the Managing Director of LAMATA from last week. Good evening. I am Obafemi Craig.
Thank you for joining us and welcome to the program. I am Kate Harmony. We'll be back after the break.
This is the news update on LAMATA Ep4. Korea's Ministry of Land, Infrastructure and Transport is assisting the Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority LAMATA to improve and update aspects of the state's strategic transport master plan. This assistance is coming through the Overseas Construction Promotion Committee of Korea. The assistance is in form of improvement and update in transport safety, non-motorized transport, and intelligent transport system aspects of the Lagos Strategic Transport Master Plan. In carrying out the assistance, the Koreans are working through local consultants who will help collect data on accident statistics and analysis of course, comparative analysis and evaluation of transport safety, evaluation of safety administrative system, among others. Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority LAMATA has assured that the rehabilitation work on Ajilogu Market Street will be completed before the end of the first quarter of 2014. LAMATA's Director of Roads and Traffic Management, Engineer Lufunsho Ilulade, said the project has achieved more than 80% completion. He said the contractor will continue to work towards delivering the project by the due date. He urged residents within the project corridor and other road users to continue to cooperate with the contractor. The Ajilogu Market Street project involves the rehabilitation of a single lane of 640 meters on Ajilogu Street, 170 meters on Davis Street to a dual carriageway, installation of street light, lane markings, and other traffic system measures. Meanwhile, the rehabilitation of the Bus Rapid Transit BRT system lanes from asphalt to rigid pavement may start next month. According to LAMATA's Director of Roads and Traffic Management, Engineer Lufunsho Ilulade, the work plan of the contractor was being reviewed, promising that LAMATA will ensure the contractor adopts a work implementation plan that will not negatively affect traffic movement along the corridor. He appealed to road users to be cautious and patient while driving in work areas and obey traffic diversion in order to avoid delays. That was the news update. Up next, discussion segments. Please stay tuned.
Basically, what LAMATA does is to coordinate public transportation in Lagos State, and we came up with a transport master plan.
Developed together with the World Bank, the objective of this plan is finding long-lasting solutions for the problem of transportation in Lagos. Currently under its first steps of development, the plan has already proven itself a big success, dramatically increasing the connectivity in a city in continuous expansion and enjoying an unparalleled demographic and economic growth.
Our responsibility is to ensure that we provide the necessary infrastructure to meet the growth, to improve the quality of life, to improve the standard of living, and to make Lagos a vibrant and livable city in years to come.
LAMATA, think transport.
Last week, we began a discussion with the Managing Director of LAMATA, Dr. Dayo Mubriola, on the roadmap for LAMATA in 2014.
Now we'll bring you the concluding part of the discussion. Please stay tuned. What is LAMATA's overall vision for public transport in Lagos State?
All right. Thank you very much, Kate, for that question. This is the first time in which we have actually sat down and taken a long time, about 5 years, to really understand the pattern as to where are people going to, where are they coming from, what time of the day are they traveling, how much can they afford to travel with, and the duration in which they want to travel. So you take so many things into consideration, and then you now use that to come up with what we call Transport Master Plan. So with Transport Master Plan now, we have projected the need of Lagos as at today, and then in the next 30 years. Because as you know, the population of Lagos will continue to increase. Yeah. We are estimating that by 2015, it will go to 25 million population living in Lagos, and by 2033, 2035, okay, it will be about a region of 40 million people living in Lagos. So we have to start planning towards that in terms of transport infrastructure and services. We don't want to make the mistake of the past, where nothing was done for a while. And I have to, again, use this opportunity to recognize the importance which the governor of Lagos State, Governor Raji Fashola, has actually brought to bear on the future of Lagos. He gave us the opportunity to look at Lagos and look at the mega city and said, look, we don't want to plan for today, we want to plan for the future. And as a result, we had come up with what we call Transport Master Plan, which is 7 rail network. We have the blue line, which we have started. We have the red line, which we are almost going to start very soon, hopefully. We have the purple line, we have the orange line, we have so many other lines.
Wow.
So we have 7 rail lines. We have 9 BRT corridors. Then we also have planned ferry routes as well, almost 7 commuter ferry routes. And beyond that, we have also looked at bus system within Lagos. Because what happened is that the beginning and the end of most trips is actually by buses. And most what our job as transport planner is to be able to connect all these mode of transports together, so that people don't have to get down from the bus and wait for 15 minutes before the train comes, or get down from the ferry and then walk 1 kilometer to where the bus stop. So it's all of this plan that we are trying to put together. So we are putting a lot into it, and it takes a bit of time when you have a population of...
You say it's integrated?
It's integrated, yes. It's integrated, it's seamless. It has to be seamless for people to use it, to enjoy it, and also you also have to consider the environmental impact of it as well. Okay. So it's all of this that we have brought together to have a vision. At least now we know what we need for the next 30 years to meet the demand of today and the demand of the future.
So what then are the challenges that you foresee towards the achievement of the LAMATA vision?
Transport infrastructure is a capital intensive, no doubt, as we have demonstrated in the area of the rail, and then also the bus rapid transit, road construction. All of these are really capital intensive, to be honest. And therefore, the funding would always be a major issue. But again, we would always be creative in trying to find solutions to this problem, and then use this opportunity to ask the masses to pay their taxes and contribute their own parts to bring in Lagos to become a better place. But that is the major problem. The other one is actually the institutional capacity. We need what we call transport professionals in Lagos and in Nigeria. We have been lucky in the sense that the government of the past, Governor Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu, and this present governor, Governor Raji Fashola, allowed LAMATA to actually source professionals from abroad. And the reason why that has happened was that, remember I did say that the problem of transportation in Lagos alone is something that had been going on for over 40 years, 50 years. So obviously there were no professionals in that sector. There are professionals in the area of road construction, but when we do not have good professionals in transport planning, traffic management, traffic engineers, all of that. So this is what we are now bringing from abroad, and what we are trying to do is actually bring Nigerians who have been able to work abroad to come and work with us in LAMATA, and that is why we are having a better cohesion and a better plan, and people who understand our culture and understand where we are going to.
Environment.
And accounting for your successes.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, the picture and the journey is you painted is a long one, but how sure is it?
It's sure in the sense that we now have a roadmap. What had not happened in the past was that there was no roadmap. And the roadmap is the master plan that covers the next 30 years, as I mentioned, and the fact that we have started. Anything that you have not started is always a problem. I'll give you an instance where was the metro line, which Governor Jakonde tried to introduce in the 80s. If they had started that metro line then, you would have seen that there would have been a force to continue it. And which is why the good thing Governor Fashola have done in this case is that yes, there is a roadmap, but let's start something, which is why we started the blue line, and by God's grace we'll finish it, and then all the other lines would come together as well. So the major thing is just to start. You need to start. It's not about having a plan alone, but taking the first step, and which is what we have done. It's extremely important.
Where exactly can you see Lagos State and LAMATA are at this point, moving towards the future?
We are the threshold. We are the beginning. We are the beginning of something good. We are the beginning of solving the problem of transportation. Okay. We've started with the BRT. We've started with rail. We started with the ferry services, and even to the point that we are introducing cable car, and all of this system will be integrated.
Cable car, I'd like to use that.
You would like to?
So do I.
Yeah.
But all of this is just the beginning. Is the beginning. It takes a bit of time. I think it was just last year, 2013, that England celebrated 100 years of London Underground. So it's not something that you start overnight.
It must be planned.
Yes, you start on 1 kilometer, you increase it, then you move to the next line, then you move to the next line, you move to the next line, you move, and then you come to integration. 20 years ago, in England, you have London buses, you have London Rail, you have Underground Rail, you have British Rail, and everybody were doing their own things differently. So you come out of the Underground and you have to wait for 20 minutes for the bus to come. But now, what they have done is that they have realized that there is a need to have one institution to manage all of this, and that is why they now have Transport for London. Which is why we also have LAMATA. LAMATA is the coordinating agency, implementing agency, monitoring agency, and coming up with all of these plans and putting the infrastructure together. And that is meaning that we have learned from the mistake of others and put things right. So we have a long way to go, no doubt, but we have started on the right path. Yes,
we'll get there.
Indeed.
We'll take more questions, this time from the audience, after the break. Do stay tuned. Our guest, the Managing Director of LAMATA, has spoken extensively on the agency's roadmap in 2014. It's time to take your questions, suggestions, and contributions, and we shall provide response to all of them. So we'll take the questions.
You're going on a bigger project, which is the railway transportation. We have one at hand, being the BRT, which is not yet well maintained, in the sense that the seats in the BRT buses are collapsed, and then the BRT parks are not in place. Now, going into a bigger structure, going into a bigger project like the railway, what structures are on ground in terms of maintenance?
Thank you, Ernest, and for your observation, which are quite candid and relevant. And I always would want to refer to the journey so far. And don't forget where we're coming from. We're coming from the danfos, the molwes, the bolekajas. I don't know whether you remember all of those types of modes of transport that has been in existence that are unregulated, they are unsafe, they are unroadworthy, and we are migrating, we are moving on. And that tells us that without making excuses, but we can't jump from 0 to 100% at one go. It takes a bit of time. And what we have done over time is that the operators who are actually operating the BRT are actually the people that were operating the danfos and motorways in the past. So because we want them to bring the culture of at least running buses to this new concept, and for them not to lose their source of revenue. That is why we brought them on board to run the BRT buses. That is the union, the NURTW. But changing culture takes a bit of time. They have been doing this thing for the past 40, 50 years. They don't maintain buses, they don't repair buses, they just buy second-hand. And now we are saying you need to buy new buses, you need to check and make sure the engine oil is there, you need to make sure the wipers are running, you need to train your drivers. So everything had been written out for them. And we are taking time to go over it with them on a daily basis. We train them, we assist them in training, we assist them in giving them maintenance culture, we assist them in bringing experts in to do all of these things. So there has been improvement. And I'm sure if you look at these BRT buses now, from what they were about 6-7 months ago, you will have seen some improvement. A new set of 50 new buses were actually brought in late October, November last year as well. The old ones have been refurbished and all of that. So we are improving on the BRT. It will not be like that for the rail, because the rail is more technical, is more, it has a lot of engineering and a lot of safety issues. So from day one, we are going to bring in a lot of experts that would ensure that the train runs safely, the train runs efficiently, the train runs on time, the train is actually well prepared for the next morning journey. And all of this is what we have been working on for the past 6-7 years.
When I look at the road project, it's a huge one. And my fear is, or rather my question is, I hope it won't be one of government abandoned projects due to mismanagement of funds.
We have to thank God for this administration and the past administration in bringing prudency to governance. And as a result of that, we have been able to put in place a structure that allows the funding to come into place for this rail construction. You will notice that I said earlier on that we're doing it in phases. If we had the money available, we would have built the 27 kilometers at once. Again, it's all the fact that the funding are not available. But I can assure you that the system is in place to ensure that whatever we embarked on, the funding is available for it. And as a result, it will not be an abandoned project. That you can be rest assured.
My question is about the E+ card. The machine is not working very well. Most of the buses don't have the machine. And like this morning, we were standing at the bus stop. We couldn't find any bus that have the machine. And the ones that have it is not working. So it's actually wasting people's time to the various work and all the rest. So what are you doing about it?
Yes, we're aware of all these problems, and we are solving them. It's an issue of culture, behavior of people. The culture meaning how do the operators manage this electronic system itself. It's a new concept, if you remember. We've started sometimes last year. We are addressing all of these issues. We are mindful of it. We are aware of it. We are holding meetings with the providers of this electronic ticketing system the operators, the LAMATA as a regulator, we are all working together to solve these problems as we go on. Very soon, you are going to find out that even some of these validators are not going to be on the buses anymore. They would be at the bus stops. We are looking at how we can do that and how to protect it so that overnight they are not stolen or destroyed. So that if we can do that, then it will be easier for us to again address some of the issues that you have raised. So just bear with us, we'll get there.
We now conclude the question and answer segment with our studio audience. Over to you, Kate.
Thank you, Craig. Dr. Mabirela, you have been at the forefront of all these projects, the rails, the BRT lanes and everything. And of course, you've had some experiences. Now we want you to leave some thoughts with our stakeholders and of course our viewers at home.
Thank you, Kate. Being an organization and also being part of the state that cares for the people, and also thinking about the next generation of people and the mega city that Lagos is going to be, what we are thinking about is about how public transportation in the next so many years are going to meet the needs of the next generation. And to do that, we are looking at things like ITS, which is Intelligent Transport System. We are looking at what are the needs of the next generation of people. And we are also looking at providing the infrastructure that will make Lagos a better place for people to live and for people to come and enjoy themselves. So it's all of these things that we are addressing, and we want to make sure that we leave a legacy that is lasting for the generation unborn. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being a part of this program and for availing us this time.
My pleasure.
We'll be right back after the break.
That was the concluding part of our discussion with the Managing Director of LAMATA. Surely, the roadmap for LAMATA is one of great achievements.
To find out more about LAMATA, you can use the details now appearing on your screen. Would love to hear from you.
Till next week,
LAMATA,
think transport.
Lagos, my home. With LAMATA, Lagos is changing for the best. BRT lanes, modern rail lines, pedestrian bridges.